Hi, this is Peter Marshall. You're listening to Jazz Cafe at 88.7 FM, WRHU Radio. And at the helm, it's John Bohannan.
Why, thank you, Peter. Right here in the Jazz Cafe, we continue our Monday series of live in-person performances right here. Very glad to have an old friend, a regular here in the Jazz Cafe, Jerry Costanzo, who is back with us, and he brought a friend, Phyllis Tagg. And welcome to both of you. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. And, we'll be, Phyllis will be regaling us with some stories.
Yes.
About Jillies and Frank Sinatra. And, some songs, too, from Phyllis and from Jerry. But, Phyllis, let's lead off with you. What do you have first for us?
Would you like a song or a story?
How about a song first?
Okay.
I want everyone to know I'm just Phyllis's roadie today.
Okay.
I'm going to do Jerry's favorite. He likes when I do this one.
All right.
Love is funny, or it's sad, or it's quiet, or it's mad. It's a good thing or it's bad. But you know, love is beautiful. Beautiful to take a chance, and if you fall, you fall. And I'm thinking, you know, I wouldn't mind at all. Love is cheerful, or it's gay. It's a problem, or it's play. But it's a heartache either way. But you know, love is beautiful. And I'm thinking, if you were mine, I'd never let you go. That would be so beautiful. That would be so beautiful. That would be so beautiful. I know. I did it short and sweet. Well, talking about Jillies, I was there in the late 60s.
Okay.
I was pregnant with my second child. And I'll never forget the first night I saw Frank Sinatra. I was like so nervous and petrified as he walked in. Jillies, we had a piano bar, and I was working with a trio. I had a bass player and a drummer. And he walked in with his entourage, and I froze. But after a while, you forget he was there. He would always sit to the left of me, right near the kitchen. And then I'd take a peek, and once in a while I'd see him snapping his fingers, and I was comfortable. And he used to come in almost, when he was in town, he came in regularly, and I was there on the off nights, Sunday and Monday. I guess those were his favorite nights to come in, because there wasn't that many tourists around to bother him. And also Johnny Carson used to come in. He was a regular, and Ed McMahon, and as you know, they both like to drink.
I've heard that, yes. Yeah. The only time they didn't drink was when they didn't understand the question.
And Ed McMahon could handle his liquor because he was a big guy. But I'll never forget when Ed McMahon came over to me. He shook my hand, and I was wearing this ring. You see the ring with all these diamonds? And all the diamonds were facing the third finger. And he shook my hand and he wouldn't let go. And I was in such pain, John.
Oh, boy.
But I didn't have the nerve to scream. And I went, oh, yes, thank you, Mr. McMahon, you know. Thank God that didn't last too long. And Johnny Carson, I want you to know, used to sit in with us on drums.
Oh, yeah?
Did you know he was a good drummer?
I knew that, yes.
Yeah. I believe Buddy Rich taught him, and what was his mentor. And he was good. It was good. The only thing that bothered me at Jillies was when Jimmy Roselli used to come in.
Uh-oh.
He was a pain in the you-know-what.
Was he really? Okay.
At that time, Jimmy Roselli, he was a very well-known Italian singer of songs, but he didn't do the American songs yet. So he decided he was going to practice on my time.
Oh.
And he would do his American songs with me and bombing. And the audience would say, Jimmy, please. What was his famous? Malafemina. And he would just ignore them. And continue on his way, practicing on my time. But the rest of my memories of Helen O'Connell used to come in. She'd sit right in front of me with beautiful dimples. They never sat in vocally, though. Frank never sat in either. It was just Johnny that would sit in on the drums.
I've heard so many stories, conflicting stories about Sinatra, that he was a pain in the neck or he was a pussycat. What's your take on it?
Well, he loved me.
Yeah.
So I loved him.
Okay.
But I did see a couple of things that I couldn't understand. I was talking to Eddie earlier about that. One night I saw him cursing out terribly Pat Henry.
Oh, really?
The comic Pat Henry, as he was walking past me, saying the F words, too. I was embarrassed for Pat. But Eddie just told me that they made up. I didn't, know that. And another time I saw Mia Farrow with her mink coat. You could hardly see her because she's, a little narrow girl.
Right.
And as she's storming out, evidently she must have had an argument with Frank. Or maybe Frank was ignoring her. I think Frank was ignoring her. He had all his, buddies. And I saw her storm out, and I saw his bodyguards trying to bring her back in, but she never did come back in.
Years ago, in the early 1970s, I was on staff at WNAW.
Oh.
And I was a news anchor there. And it was interesting because a lot of stars would come up to chat with William B. Williams and just walk up off the street and just walk by themselves. And most of the time, they would come into the newsroom and say hello to the news guys, except for Sinatra. He came in with an army of people, stared straight ahead, went in and sat down with William B., and back out he went. And he was, surrounded by this entourage.
Yes.
And I guess that's what he did for most of his life. He had to have people around him who would protect him.
He was a very generous man, too. I'll get to that later. But WNEW just rang a bell. Do you remember the Roy Ross Trio?
I don't think so.
My father played with the Roy Ross Trio in WNEW.
Really? Okay.
Must have been 40s, maybe?
Okay.
40s, yeah. And my father was a studio musician, great musician, Nick Tagg. And he also played and arranged for Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet when they first got onto The Tonight Show.
Ah, okay. Goes back a few years, yeah.
Yeah, and they used to come to the house. They loved the way my father cooked Italian food, especially linguine with the clam sauce. They loved that. And they would come and rehearse at the house. And he was 18 at the time, and she was about 24. Did you know she was about 6 years older?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Nobody knew back then, but...
Yeah. You shouldn't talk about Italian food with Lynn Triola around. Because
He's getting hungry.
But they used to cry to my father, oh, Nick, now we have to starve ourselves. Because back then you had to be so skinny on TV. Now you can get away with anything. By the way, they used to love when I sang a certain song. They used to say, Phyllis, please sing our favorite. Can I do it for you?
Do it right here. Here's Phyllis Tagg.
Okay. I'll never stop loving you. Whatever else I may do, my love for you will live till time itself is through. I'll never stop wanting you, and when forever is through, my heart will beat the way it does each time we meet. The night doesn't question the stars that appear in the skies, so why Should I question the stars that appear in my eyes? Of this I'm more than just sure. My love will last and endure. I'll never stop loving you. Oh, you brought back some memories for me, John.
Oh, good.
I haven't done that one in years.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Great job.
Well done.
We got nice people in here.
Yes.
Got a
yes,
lot of
we
warmth
do.
in this room.
Yes, we
So
do.
I wanted to tell you something funny Johnny Carson did one night. I was the only one that saw it, John.
Uh-oh.
He was sitting right in front of me with alongside of Ed McMahon, and they were drinking.
Mhm.
In walks this gorgeous showgirl. She didn't see him at first. She walks past him, and he gooses her.
Oops.
And I was the only one that saw it, and I went hysterical. And you know what goosing means, right?
No.
You know what my niece...
Maybe I could have a good idea.
You know, my niece told me, young niece, she said, Aunt Phyllis, what is goosing? I said, they don't say that anymore? He pinched her on the behind.
Uh-huh.
All right, now
Yeah.
you know?
Yes, now I know.
And she
you hang
turned
around, you learn.
around. She was furious. She turned around and she was ready to slap him until she saw it was Johnny Carson, you know? And then, of course, she giggled, oh, Johnny, you know. And next thing she's sitting with him and they're, you know, they're
There you go.
drinking, yeah. But
We're-
I was the only one that saw that. So, but everybody was saying, why is she laughing? Whatever.
Whatever. We're here with Phyllis Tagg, live and in person, and Jerry Costanzo is here, too. And we have a request. Twisted.
Oh, I was just going to do that.
Oh, see?
That's my favorite scat song to do.
All right.
Did you know, in case the audience doesn't know, your radio audience, that it was a saxophone jazz solo?
Wardell Gray.
Wardell Gray. And Annie Ross
Yep.
took it note for note and put words to it.
Yep, yep.
It's my favorite song to sing. It's amazing how I can remember the words, too.
Shall we do the Oh No's over here?
The what? Oh, yeah. Would you help me with that?
The Oh No's, yeah.
I got to tell you a funny story how I learned it, too, because back then there was no sheet music or as far as the jazz tunes. So I had to, I got the LP, and I think it was 33 in those days.
Yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't make out the words because she sang it so fast. So I had to lower the speed to, I think it was 16, the next one down.
Okay.
And this is how I learned it. But I don't mean that I was right out of my head. And I'm writing it down word for word.
Hey, whatever works.
My analyst told me that I was right out of my head the way he described it. He said I'd be better dead than live. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along that he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought what? I was crazy, but I'm not. Oh no.
Oh, no.
My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. He said I need treatment, but I'm not easily led. He said I was the type that was most inclined when out of his sight to be out of my mind, and he thought I was nuts. Oh, no more ifs or ands or buts. Oh no.
Oh, no.
They say as a child I appeared a little bit wild with all my crazy ideas, but I knew what was happening. I knew I was a genius. Oh, what's so strange when you know that you're a wizard at 3? I knew that this was meant to be. Well, they say little children aren't supposed to sleep tight. That's why in bed I drank some vodka one night. My parents, they got frantic, didn't know what to do. But I saw some crazy things before I came to. Now, do you think I was crazy? I may have been only 3, but I was swinging. They all looked at Darwin and Bella. They looked at Edison and also at Einstein. So why should I feel sorry if they just couldn't understand the reasoning and the logic that went on in my head? I had a brain, it was in vain, though it was meant to never be, when I refused to ride on those double-decker buses. Oh, because there was no driver on the top. No driver on the top. I gotta be out of my mind. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head the way he described it. He said it'd be better dead than live. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along that he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought what? I was crazy, but I'm not. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
My analyst told me that I was right out of my head, but I said, dear doctor, I think that it's you instead. Cause I got a thing that's unique and new. It proves that I'll have the last laugh on you. Cause instead of one head, I got two. And you know, two heads are better than one.
Phyllis Tagg. There we go.
Amazing
Twisted.
how I can remember those
Twisted.
words.
You know, Phyllis, John, two heads are better than one, unless one's a head of lettuce.
Ah. I got to think about that. Phyllis, what do you have coming up that we should know about?
Oh, thank you for asking. Every Tuesday night, I'm at my favorite venue, Westbury Manor Restaurant,
Ah.
from 6:30 to 9:30.
Mhm.
I love the room. The manager, Frank, Jerry Scotto, the bartender, Michael, they're just so kind to me and my friends and my fans. And I'm there from 6:30 to 9:30. And they're doing a special this Tuesday. They're going to, especially that I'm on this program, 25% off their beautiful wines, bottle of wine. Yeah. And on Friday and Saturdays, starting in December, I'm at an Italian restaurant called Birdie's. It used to be, it used to be Papa Joe. It's on Comac Road in Deer Park, and it's right across from Tanger Outlet. In case there are some shoppers out there in the audience. So I'll be there every Friday and Saturday in December, and I believe I'm going to be there New Year's Day too. They just offered me New Year's Day.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're keeping busy. That's good.
Yeah, and they both have beautiful pianos, and they keep them up, and it's just the two of them. You know, John, I was going to retire this year.
Oh, no.
I had made up my mind. January 2013, I'm retiring. I even stopped doing my nails. I used to do the fake nails for like about 50 years.
Uh-huh.
And I said, that's it, no more nail salons, you know. But you know what? Now that I don't have nails, I'm playing better. I should have done it.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, but these venues have been opening up where their pianos are available, because I just got to the stage in my life, John, that I couldn't carry in the electric equipment anymore.
Gets heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of, so I'm enjoying my semi-retirement. I have to call it semi-retirement.
All right. No, don't retire. You know, retirement, well, the hours are okay, but the pay is lousy.
I have to thank Jerry Costanzo for encouraging me to come to be with everybody here.
Good.
I'm really grateful, and he lugged in this keyboard too for me. Thank you very much,
Like
Jerry.
I said, I'm your professional roadie today.
Give him a good tip, will you?
I will give him.
Like, buy low, sell high.
Want to hear another great story?
Yes.
My favorite story.
Okay.
How I finally met Frank
We got time. Go
face
ahead.
to face. I mean.
Okay.
What happened was Jilly came over to us and ran the riot act. That's me and my musicians. Just want you to know you're not to bother Sinatra. You're not to go over to shake his hand. You're not to ask for an autograph. You're not to take a picture. Of course, I said I would never, impose on Mr. Sinatra. And this was after I was there about 6 months when he ran the riot act, re-ran the riot act. And I went back to I went back on stage back to the piano. Oh, that night, what happened was he particularly ran the riot act because he saw I had a camera. And for those of you who know me, like Jerry, I always bring my camera to take pictures of me, not to take pictures of anybody else in particular, just to remember where I was working. So he says, now that camera you have, that's not for, I said, no, it's not, I'm not going to bother Mr. Sinatra, please leave me alone. And I went back on and I started to say to myself, I said, why can't I say hello to Sinatra? Why can't I shake his hand? I know he's enjoying my music. I could tell he's enjoying. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to wait until he has to get up to go to the bathroom. And then I'll just take a little break and I'll go to the bathroom. And for those of you who remember Julie's had a very narrow stairway. And the men's room was right next to the ladies' room. So anyway, I was into 30 minutes of my set, and there he comes in front of me with his bodyguard, 400-pound bodyguard, real big guy, tough guy. And they go downstairs, and I waited 5 minutes so I could, allow him to do what he had to do. Then I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. Please don't go away. And I get up, and I nonchalantly go downstairs. And I timed it perfectly, Frank. John. I got to the bottom of the stairs, and he was coming out of the men's room. And I'm pretending to go to the ladies' room. With those big, blue, gorgeous eyes. He had gorgeous blue eyes, as a lot of you know. Face to face, and he opened up his mouth. And I said, oh my God, he's going to say something. There's no photographers, there's no cameras, no TV people. And I remember, this was in 1969, because I was pregnant with my daughter. I remember saying to myself, Phyllis, you're going to have to memorize this moment. And I did. He opened his mouth and he said, man, you sing your bird off. And he extended his hand.
Really?
And John, you know what I said? Did
a little Elmer Fudd there, right?
The tongue went down to the floor. The tongue went down to the floor. And he was so sweet. He giggled and he held my hand and we walked up the stairs together.
Oh, nice.
But I'll never forget that moment when my idol said to me, man, you sing your bird off.
That's great. That's great. Talking about Jimmy Rosselli before, I have a Jimmy Rosselli story. I might have told this before. This was in the, I guess the early 60s when Sinatra and Jimmy Rosselli had this big feud. And Sinatra's mother, Dolly, wanted Jimmy Rosselli to perform somewhere at a charity, right? And he made some sort of demand. I forget what it was, but Sinatra went ballistic and informed all of his people that Jimmy Rosselli was not to be hired at various nightclubs around the country, had the Jimmy Rosselli records taken out of jukeboxes, got word out to all the disc jockeys around the country, don't play any Jimmy Rosselli records. He just froze them out. So at the time, I'm doing a morning drive at a radio station in Freeport, WGBB. I don't think it exists anymore, but here I am early in the morning, and this guy walks into the control room, big, mean-looking dude, something out of Tony Soprano, and I didn't have the mic open at the time, but he came up to me, walked right up and said, you got any Jimmy Rosselli records? And I said, well, yes, because we did play them because we got a request. He put his hand in his pocket, and I thought, okay, he's going to come out with his two partners, Smith and Wesson. And he dropped a $5 bill on the turntable. He said, play them. And off he went. So I played a Jimmy Rosselli record. This guy came in every week, about the same time, early in the morning, didn't say a word, just came into the control room, dropped a $5 bill on the turntable, and I played Jimmy Rosselli.
It's a great story.
True, it's true. Coming up to 2:30, we still got some time. We're here with Jerry Costanzo and Phyllis Tagg. And Phyllis, can I sweet talk you into one more song?
Yes, sure.
All right.
The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers and how it all will end. Nothing seems to be lasting, but that isn't our affair. We've got something permanent. I mean, in the way we care. It's very clear. Our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone, the movies that we know may just be passing fancies and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're We're going a long, long way. In time, the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay, but